where reproductive rights are not just protected by the Constitution of the United States, but guaranteed in every state.
Are we going to go back to the days of back alley abortions? Women died before we had Roe v. Wade in place. And so I'm going to tell you, on this issue, I'm kind of done, because here's how I feel about it, guys. Let me tell you. There are states that keep passing these laws, and when elected, I'm going to put in place and require that states that have a history of passing legislation that is designed to prevent or limit a woman's access to reproductive health care, that those laws have to come before my Department of Justice for a review and approval, and until we determine that they are constitutional, they will not take effect.
If states prevail on restricting abortion, what's your plan to stop them?
My plan is as follows. For any state that passes a law that violates the Constitution, and in particular Roe v. Wade, our Department of Justice will review that law to determine if it is compliant with Roe v. Wade and the Constitution, and if it is not, that law will not go into effect. That's called preclearance. Because the reality is that while we still have, as I said earlier, these state legislators who are outdated and out of touch, mostly men who are telling women what to do with their bodies, then there needs to be accountability and consequence. The reality of it is, this is still a fundamental issue of justice for women in America. Women have been given the responsibility to perpetuate the human species. Our bodies were created to do that. And it does not give any other person the right to tell a woman what to do with that body. It is her body, it is her right, it is her decision. Women's access to reproductive health care is under full attack in so many states in our country. You look at a state like Alabama, where that legislature has passed a law that would criminalize and incarcerate a physician for assisting with a woman's exercise of choice. When I talk to women across this country, and again, regardless of where they live, regardless of their age, their race, it is a huge issue. And women are concerned because women rightly know that with these restrictions on their access to reproductive health care, there are women who will die, and in particular poor women and women of color. It's a very real issue. We've been worried about overturning Roe v. Wade, but equally, it's about states individually putting up restrictions on access to the point then that there is virtually no right. And that's the thing that is the slow burn on this. And as far as I'm concerned, yes, we play defense, but let's also play offense.
Thousands of crisis pregnancy centers have opened up across the country, 150 in California. Many of these clinics refuse to give complete information and provide contraception and abortion to patients. What would you do as president to ensure that people are given accurate information when it comes to abortion services?
In a way that we also informed everyone, and women in particular, about their rights and their right to have honest information with transparency, which of course is not being provided at those clinics. We are talking about often women who are in a state of real anxiety, real vulnerability, in terms of needing help, needing advice, needing counsel, needing support, nurturing. And what is most important is that we inform them in every way possible that they are entitled to honest feedback, to feedback that is in their best interest, not the interest of some agenda by some politician in some state house who wants to limit a woman's ability to make decisions about her own body.
A network of crisis pregnancy centers in California was awarded Title $10 this year. That means federal money is going to healthcare providers which refuses to offer contraceptions and pushes misinformation about abortion to its patient. If elected, would you continue to provide taxpayers dollars to groups like this?
Well, no. Listen, we need to, this is why I'm opposed to the Hyde Amendment. We have to understand that poor women in particular, and that's who's going there. It's women who otherwise don't have the means to go to some private healthcare provider. right? We have to make sure that we are a country that lives and works by our values. And part of it is we said that everyone is equal and should be treated that way. It is my intention on this issue of access to abortion care, on the access to reproductive health care, to not only continue to do the work of working with Planned Parenthood and all of the leaders who are here around what we need to do to get resources and support to the women of our nation, starting with Alabama and Georgia and Missouri and all of the work that we have that is currently before us. But it is also, and to do the work on the defense and to fight. But also my intention is to, as president, work on the offense. And so I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I am going to require that for any state that passes legislation on the issue of access to reproductive health, if they have a history of passing legislation that has interfered with or suppressed a woman's access to reproductive health, that anything that they propose and pass has to be reviewed by my Department of Justice to determine whether it complies with the Constitution of the United States and Roe v. Wade and its progeny.